What is up, everybody? BigC here from C12, and today is Chit Chat with BigC episode 6. And this episode will be the second game review, the second game I've ever reviewed. I'm doing a game review today because, I want to be able to review games. We'll still be talking about it, but, I'll still do a Chit Chat with BigC with it. So, this game, I don't have a case for it, so bear with me. Spiderman. Yeah, the game that came out on PlayStation. I have a little thing right here. It came out on PlayStation. Spider-Man is an action-adventure beat-em-up video game based on Marvel's Spider-Man universe. It was developed by Neversoft and published by Activision for the PlayStation in 2000. And then, later they put it on Game Boy Color and the Nintendo 64. And it's mostly known as Spider-Man 2000. And they also put it on Dreamcast and Windows in 2001. So, yeah. Yes. And Spider-Man is one of my childhood games, and I really love it. It's really fun. It's one of those games that when you play it and you finish it, you won't forget it. It's one of those games that will grab you and make you want to see what's going to happen next. But there are some things that are wrong with the game. I mean, at the time, it was one of the best superhero games at the time. The thing next to it, which wasn't compared, but the only thing else that would have to supply our superhero needs was Superman 64, and I don't think I'll be playing that, so I would be playing Spider-Man, because, it was so fun to get into the character, because Spider-Man is such a unique character, and a lot of people love him. I don't really think I haven't met a person that said they don't like Spider-Man or they hate Spider-Man, and I don't see any way to not like Spider-Man. He's a man with spider powers. How can you hate that? Just saying. And I'll just be talking a little bit about the plot. I don't need this. Pretty much how this story starts is that you're at an expo convention and Dr. Otto Octavius is revealing this new device, and he's found supervillain. He was a supervillain, as he says he is, which he's still doing some shady stuff. He plays the role as Peter Parker, then known as Spider-Man, and in the crowd you see Spider-Man, and then you see your rival Brock, aka Venom, who is snapping photos for the Daily Bugle. And then out of nowhere, a Spider-Man hops on stage, beats up the guards, and then they find out Spider-Man's on there, which we know is a clone of Spider-Man because Peter Parker's in the crowd. That's what we know. No one else knows because they don't know. So, as it goes on, the Peter Parker's trying to get into his costume, but he can't get free of the crowd. So, Eddie Brock is still taking photos of Spider-Man still in the device, and then the clone Spider-Man web shoots at the camera and breaks it. He just like he really does. He just like punches it, and then Eddie Brock seeks for revenge on Spider-Man, and he turns into Venom, and then it takes a shot of the two main antagonists that you'll probably face later on. And if you're a Spider-Man fan and you play the game, you'll know who I'm talking about. So as the story goes on, Spider-Man's trying to prove his innocence. I'm going to keep it a little bit short. Spider-Man's trying to prove his innocence, and on the way, he still has to do a couple things to make sure he's still helping, whatever happens for him, everything else, like the people he needs to save, that comes first, not him. So he's doing some things like helping a bank from not blowing up from pretty much terrorists, um, saving J. Jonah Jameson from Scorpion, taking out Rhino because he's causing rampage, and then he's going to chase Venom because Venom kidnapped his wife, Mary Jane, and then he's going through a sewer facing all the lizard people to finally find Venom. He finds Venom, and then he sets foot to go to the Daily Bugle to find out what's going on with Venom because they worked together afterwards. But after this, Spider-Man said he's going to pay back time for stealing his wife. So then they're at the Daily Bugle, and then they're talking, trying to find the records or whatever, and then Venom talks about his other, which was Carnage, and he says they must stop him. Then he jumps out the window and causes a lot of noise. Spider-Man actually makes a breaking and entry joke with that, actually. It's kind of funny. And then he discovers that everything, because all the stuff going on there, symbiotes. Yes, they're symbiotes. They're taking over the Daily Bugle. You got to stop it. So you're going through doing all sorts of missions, going through elevator shafts, going through little facility. Like, you're just going all over the place at the Daily Bugle and the underground layers and stuff. And then you finally meet the Spider-Man clone, the one that was talking about that stole the device. Yeah, you meet up with him, and and guess what happens? It's Mysterio. Oh, who would have known? It had to have been Mysterio or Chameleon because those are the only two people that can shapeshift, unless there's someone else I ain't thinking of. And Spider-Man actually says that too. But I mean, it's kind of obvious. So, but as a kid, you're like, I wonder who it could be. It's really a good game for kids, I would say. So then once you defeat Mysterio, you finally get some information from Mysterio saying to where all of this is taking place, and it's taken at a place called Warehouse 65, I think it was. Yeah, 65. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Don't be mad at me if I get that wrong. So then, as he's going there, he meets up with Punisher, which Punisher almost kills him because Punisher was getting ready to shoot him. But since Spider-Man has spider sense, Spider-Man was able to web shoot the gun before he could shoot. So then they're talking, and Punisher wanted to team up with Spider-Man to go in there, but then Spider-Man said, no thanks, I like to keep the body count low. And yeah, I mean, it's understandable. So then he goes in, does what he has to do, take out some symbiote generators, which he already was doing at the Daily Bugle when he was underground, taking out some symbiote generators. And then he heads through the underground facility that's underwater with freaking lasers shooting at you and an invisible force field. Underwater. 300 feet underwater. Yeah. That's that underground layer. So then, when you're in the underground layer, the underground facility or whatnot, you finally find Black Cat, who was held captive, who was drugged to the place. They drugged her just so they can put her in there. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but it works. And you gotta shut down all the switches to stop the fogging that's happening in the city because they used the device. I forgot to mention this in the beginning. They used the device to fog the whole city. And with that, when they fog it and they get prepared to do what they're trying to do to, take over the world, they use it to symbiote nation, to, make people into symbiotes and all that crazy stuff. Yeah, they do that. So, whenever you do the switches, whenever you turn off all the switches and then you stop it, then the whole facility starts combusting and blowing up every time you do the switches. So then that fixes it. That's stopped up, and then now you freed Black Cat. So then you tell her to go get some help while you go and try to find the people that are responsible for this. And then you go through one of the main labs, and you go in there, and there's two people laughing it up, just going, ha, ha, ha. And you're going there, I'm like, listen, who are you? No one can control the symbiotes. No one. That's actually how he does it. And then we reveal the main antagonists to this game, Dr. Otto Octavius and Carnage. Yeah, if you played this game, I bet you didn't see that coming, huh? Yeah, so they were working together all alone, and Dr. Octavius was working with Carnage so Carnage can control the symbiotes. Knowing, like you just said, no one can control the symbiotes. So, then Venom shows up out of nowhere and starts, yapping it up with Carnage like an old married couple. Then they start fighting, and then you're alone with Doc Ock. You figure, y'all just be, drinking some tea, you just watching some TV, but no, you gotta fight Doc Ock. So, you fight Doc Ock, you defeat him, and then Venom out of nowhere just flies through the little window thing that they went into to start fighting. And then he's trying to warn Spider-Man that Carnage is right there about to grab him. And Spider-Man can't hear him because Venom just got beat the crap out of him. So he can't really talk to him. He's like, he can't even talk that good. So then Carnage snatches you up and then he takes you and you got to face him. And then after you do that, then you feel like, hey, it's over now. It's the end of the game. Well, no, you got one more level, and the symbiote that came out of Carnage, which the guy that was in Carnage, Cletus Cassidy, which is a serial killer, that symbiote, that red symbiote stuff, it went down to the other place where you fought Doc Ock at, and in mere seconds, that symbiote went into Doc Ock that was knocked out and turned into Monster Ock, which is probably and only exclusive to the game. Like, it's the only time you really see Monster Ock anywhere. And as a kid, it was really scary. He looked menacing, but now you look at him and you just, he looks, it's like, was I really scared of this? But still, it's a kid's game and it's really fun. So I can see that. So then you gotta escape. You gotta try to escape You gotta escape Doc Ock. Is what you gotta do. You gotta run from him because he's gonna chase you, and if he gets to you, he'll kill you. So you gotta keep on moving. You gotta go up different floors. You're in this little tube thing. You gotta keep on going, zip lining, swinging, going through these doors. Like, you have to do all these different things to get out. And when you do get out, you're witness with the cutscene where you're running from Doc Ock, and there's fire coming from behind him, and then you swing up. And then the fire gets him, but it saves Doc Ock. The symbiote saves Doc Ock. So then you're able to escape with Doc Ock, and so he can be locked up with the other villains. Nothing about Carnage, which he probably died from that explosion now, thinking about it. So, yeah, that's probably a second reason why he wasn't in the sequel to the game, because it would have been kind of bad to repeat the same boss, and he probably died since the time of the last game. So yeah, he's probably dead. But all the other villains are in jail now, and that's pretty much the game. That's kind of a way for me to sum it up to make it a little bit quicker. I know I was hoping that it wouldn't be as long as I thought it would be, but that's the game. But as far as the game goes, it's a Spider-Man game, and it knows what it's doing. It's a kid's game, and it's fun. This kind of game right here, this Spider-Man game, is the game whenever people want to play Spider-Man games or something, and like, I don't know which good ones, this is a good one. Spider-Man game nowadays, they're not really that fun. Like, yeah, sure, this can get bored after a while, like the style. I'm not talking about the game, but like, they got to change up the style every once in a while. But when this came out, this was something fresh. It was new. So, they had to change up the style with the newer games, but it's like, I feel like they shouldn't have, because, the new styles aren't even as fun as this style. Like, this is what a Spider-Man game should be. It's a really fun adventure that you'll never forget. And yeah, it's a really fun game. I recommend this to anyone who just don't know any good PS1 games to play, and you have a PS1, you don't have really any good games that you know of. I would recommend this. I would even recommend this to a kid that wants a Spider-Man game, because this is a fun game for kids. So, and I'm going to give Spider-Man a 9.6 out of 10, because it's a fun game, but there are some things about it, and it's my childhood. How could I say anything negative about this? This is a really fun game. That's gonna be it for Chit Chat with BigC episode 6. If you enjoyed, like and share the video, share it with your friends, family, and Chicago rappers, and I'm gonna be out. Alright? Boom!